Hey, it's Mike, and it's this week's edition of Motorcycle News on Riding in the Ozarks. The only new bike launch that I took note of this week was from Triumph. Yep, they launched 2 new versions of the Rocket 3. These are limited edition versions. They're only going to put out 1,000 units of each. The Rocket 3R and the Rocket 3 GT. Both are kind of blacked out versions. There's some new features and stuff with the Rocket 3. I'm not going to get into the whole thing. I'm thinking about doing a video on that for you guys. Is that something you'd be interested in? Leave me a comment and let me know. If you're not familiar with the Rocket 3, it is the world's largest production motorcycle engine, 2,500 cc's. Here's a clip where they talk about the horsepower and torque.
It's not only the largest production motorcycle engine in the world at 221 Newton meters, it has the world's highest torque delivery too. Maximum torque arrives at 4,000 RPM and is held all the way through the mid-range, giving unparalleled acceleration and all-day, any-gear, effortless riding. Peak power is a breathtaking 167 PS at 6,000 RPM, and again, the Rocket engine is tuned to deliver power all the way from a low 3,500 RPM to the red line at 7,000 RPM.
Someone asked me to compare the Rocket 3 to a Harley touring bike in the comments. I'm definitely not going to have time to do that right away, but if you are interested in how the Rocket 3 compares to Harley-Davidson, I suggest you go watch this video. I'm going to put a link to it in the description down below. Old Shade Tree Surgeon has a Rocket 3. Yeah, I think it's a little older generation than this, but he also had a Road King, I believe it was, called Road King Kong from Burt's Barracuda with the 131 crate engine in it. And after they got the engine broke in, they took it to the dyno at Burt's, had it tuned up on the dyno, and they compared the numbers. I'm not going to tell you how that turns out, but go watch the video if you want to know. In other news, Harley-Davidson applied for the trademark for the name Nightster. Several articles have come out where they think it may belong to the custom 1250. Some people thought they might revive the Sportster line with an air-cooled variable valve timing engine that was patented 2 years ago. I have my own suspicions what they're going to do with it, and I'm going to do a whole video on that. So if you're interested in my opinion on that, just subscribe to the channel and wait for that video to pop up in the next week or so. In other Harley-Davidson news, they came out with a new program for used bikes called Certified Pre-Owned. It's going to launch in April. I did a video on this, and you can watch the whole video here if you want to know more about it, but I don't really think it's new news. I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's repackaging something they were already doing and trying to maybe remarket it. I also do think that this is designed to help get buyers in the door to buy a used Harley-Davidson because they no longer have entry-level bikes like the Street 500, the Street 750, and the Night Rod. And they may not have Sportsters much longer. A lot of us think that the Sportster is on its last leg. Have you guys seen the new video from Indian with the Indian Challenger Challenge 2.0? So about the time of the King of Baggers race, they tested some cams in one of the race bikes there. Shortly after that, they came out with a Stage 2 kit. So now they're comparing the Harley-Davidson Road Glide with the Screaming Eagle Stage 2 kit to the Indian Challenger with their Stage 2 kit. They used professional racers on a drag strip, and they determined that the Challenger beats the Road Glide by 0.43 seconds on average. Yep. That's the punchline. Now, you and I both know there's a lot more to buying a touring motorcycle than just how fast it'll run down a drag strip. Is that really the main reason we buy it? No. Does this mean that the Challenger has great performance, power-wise? Probably. And I'm not saying the Challenger doesn't beat the Harley Road Glide in other aspects, but I'm just saying this is not the reason I go out and buy a touring motorcycle. Been a lot of videos this week about Daytona Bike Week, and I'm glad to see it happening. Some mixed emotions about masks and how people are, handling things down there and stuff. And I don't really want to get into that. But what I did hear about and went and looked up was a video where a Livewire was melting, on fire, whatever you want to call it. I didn't see any actual flames. I didn't watch the whole 17 minutes. If you want to watch that, I'm going to put a link to it down below to that guy's channel. But here's a little clip of it. And what really concerns me is when the fire department gets there, everybody's trying to figure out what to do. I don't know. And if you are a fireman, leave me a comment and let me know. Do you guys have a protocol for dealing with electric vehicles? I mean, how do you handle that situation? How do you know what wires to cut on what models. On something to Livewire, where do you start? We know this bike was getting hot. It looks like it was a brand new bike that the dealership was working on. From what I saw in the video, I don't think it was an individual's bike. You can see tags flying off the handlebars and stuff in the video. So for me, the big thing this brings up is, do fire departments all across the country have the right equipment? Do they have the training? Do they have the information they need to be able to handle a dangerous situation like this, where you might have one of these huge batteries that might erupt, explode, leak, whatever else? Is that something we've really thought about with the whole EV culture coming forward as people are going toward electric vehicles? I'm sure some fire departments have protocols for this, but what about rural areas where EVs are not prominent? We don't have the infrastructure for EVs. How would you handle that? Do they have the training and the tools? I'm sure some people are going to really rake on Harley for a new Livewire catching fire at a dealership. But you never know what the guy was doing. He might have shorted something or done something wrong. This is kind of a whole new technology, and you're going to have some learning curves. Let's face it. The only other announcement this week that caught my attention is that KTM announced that they're going to continue their Ride Orange demo events across the United States in 2021. I must say, if they come to my area, I'm always happy to go do a demo ride on another motorcycle and gain experience and knowledge of something that I might not otherwise get the opportunity to ride. If any of you KTM fans hear of a demo event near the Ozarks, make sure you hit me up and leave me a comment and let me know when and where. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you do that YouTube thing, check out the content on my channel. And if you dig it, don't forget to subscribe down below. Ring that bell to be notified the next time I drop a new video. And as always, thank you for support. Stay safe and keep on riding.